The phone call was recorded at 11:47 at night, and what Jennifer Gledhill said next would lock in her fate forever.
On September 28th, Jennifer Gledhill called police to report her husband, Matthew Johnson, missing.
The disappearance of Matthew Johnson, a Utah father and husband, and the arrest of his wealthy wife, Jennifer Gledhill, for first-degree murder.
Jen in our home before and, breaking bread with them. And then it turned out that she's responsible for his death. It was shocking, frankly.
Before we continue, I'd really like to know where you're watching from, whether it's a big city or a small town. Drop your location in the comments below. Jennifer Gledhill and Matthew Johnson appeared to have everything. Living in their $1 million house in Cottonwood Heights, Utah, they looked like the ideal family, a dedicated military husband and a loving mother, bringing up their 3 kids, aged 11, 7, and 5. Matthew, 51, was a well-respected member of the Utah National Guard's 19th Special Forces Group, a Green Beret who had worked for his country with pride for more than 10 years. His fellow soldiers said he was smart, dependable, and someone you could always rely on for help. Jennifer, 42, was viewed as a caring mother and helpful military wife who many of Matthew's friends said was nice, kind of someone who stayed at home. The family lived quietly in their expensive neighborhood, and to people outside, everything looked fine. But underneath the surface of this seemingly ideal marriage, problems had started to show months before. The couple had been thinking about divorce since July 2024, and court papers showed a very troubled relationship that had been getting worse for some time. In August 2024, Jennifer asked for a temporary protective order against Matthew, saying she needed safety from her husband. However, when the case went to court, the judge made a choice that would turn out to be deadly important. 3rd District Commissioner Russell Minas looked at the proof Jennifer showed and found that the videos she gave actually showed her as unafraid and equally argumentative toward him. The commissioner said that text messages from Jennifer to Matthew were constantly critical, putting him down, and insulting, if not clearly trying to push him into a violent reaction. On September 16, 2024, just days before the terrible event that would break apart their family forever, Commissioner Minas threw out the protective order, deciding that no abuse had happened. He wrote something that now seems eerily like a prediction. The behavior of both people over the past several months shows a very troubled marriage bringing out the worst in both people. Clearly suggests that a divorce action should have been started long before getting to the current situation. What the commissioner didn't know was that Jennifer had already made a choice that would make sure divorce court would never be needed. In the weeks before September 2024, Matthew's behavior started to change a lot. According to his friends, Jennifer's unstable behavior had become so worrying that Matthew spent much of the final weeks of his life sleeping at a National Guard building out of worries about his safety. In one of his last talks with his longtime friend, retired Utah National Guardsman Kevin Thompson, Matthew had really reached the point that a divorce needs to happen and it is time to move forward. But Matthew never got the opportunity to move forward. What Matthew didn't fully understand was that Jennifer had been living 2 different lives. She was having a romantic relationship with another man, someone who would later become the key to solving the entire case. This wasn't just a casual thing. It was a strong relationship that filled Jennifer's thoughts and feelings. On September 19, 2024, just 2 days before the killing, Jennifer showed her lover something that should have been a red flag. She displayed a loaded gun to him, a Glock 19X that she kept in their house. At the time, he probably didn't think much of it. After all, many military families had guns. But prosecutors would later show that Jennifer had been thinking and careful in her preparation. She had made plans for their 3 kids to stay at her parents' house the night she intended to kill their father. The scene was being prepared for a fight that would end in terrible tragedy. September 20, 2024 started like any regular day. But by evening, the weak appearance of the Johnson-Gledhill marriage would finally break apart. Matthew had found out the truth about his wife's affair, and witnesses would later say they heard a heated fight between the couple that night. According to Jennifer's later admission, Matthew challenged her, shouting at her because he knew she had been sleeping with someone else. The fight was intense, with years of marriage problems finally exploding into the open. But what happened next would trouble everyone who learned about it. In the early hours of September 21, 2024, as Matthew lay sleeping in their master bedroom, completely defenseless and unaware of the danger he was in, Jennifer made a choice that would ruin multiple families forever. She took his own 9mm gun and shot her husband in the head while he slept. According to her own admission, she then put Matthew's body into a rooftop storage box, sliding it down the stairs of their house before putting it into the back of their minivan. She destroyed his phone and drove his truck to a nearby neighborhood, leaving it several blocks from their house. Then, in what can only be described as a planned cover-up, Jennifer drove north with her husband's body and buried him in a shallow grave at a spot that remains unknown to this day. When she got home, she started a big cleanup operation. She used bleach on the walls, used carpet cleaning products throughout the master bedroom, and ordered a new mattress to replace the blood-soaked one where Matthew had been killed. The mattress came just 2 days later. But Jennifer's most critical error was yet to happen. On September 22, just before midnight, Jennifer showed up at her lover's house and made an admission that would eventually lead to her arrest. She told him everything: how she had killed Matthew, how she had gotten rid of his body, and how she had cleaned up the crime scene. The man noticed bruises on Jennifer's body during their talk, and when he asked about them, she casually said that she had gotten them while burying her husband and cleaning the house of proof. Her lover was scared by what he had heard. This woman he thought he knew had just admitted to cold-blooded murder with an almost casual way of speaking. The truth was about to come out, and it was worse than anyone thought. Jennifer's lover was so bothered by her admission that he decided to record their next phone talk. When he told Jennifer that he was scared by what she had told him, her response was chilling and would become one of the most haunting pieces of proof in the case. "Wow, if you think I could even hurt a fly," she said. "Like he's not a person. He wasn't a person anymore. He wasn't Matt." The cold disconnection in her voice was clear. She had dehumanized her husband so completely that his death meant nothing to her. But Jennifer's disturbing statements didn't stop there. When her lover asked if she would be afraid if the situation were reversed, Jennifer said, "Not if I deserved it. I always said that I was like the Queen of Hearts in my past lives because I'm like off with their heads. I'm like, if we could just round up the scum of this earth and put them on an island or just kill them all, I could get this country back to a good place." Jennifer also asked her lover not to think of her as a monster and to remember who she was before she opened her mouth. The irony was not missed. She was asking for understanding after admitting to murdering the father of her children in cold blood. What made this talk even more important was that it happened before Matthew was officially reported missing. Jennifer was already speaking about her husband in the past, even though no one else knew he was dead. 6 days after her admission to her lover, Jennifer finally told police Matthew was missing. She told them that Matthew had said he would be gone for a week and told her not to call him. Meanwhile, the Utah National Guard had already started looking for Matthew when he didn't show up for duty on September 23. But unknown to Jennifer, her lover had been gathering proof against her. He had taken screenshots of their text messages and recorded their phone talks. On October 2, 2024, he finally contacted police with information that would break the case wide open. What happened next would shock even the most experienced investigators. When Cottonwood Heights police carried out a search warrant on the Johnson Gledhill home on September 28, they found a scene that told a very different story than the one Jennifer had been telling. In the master bedroom, investigators found a large blood-stained spot in the carpet underneath the bed. Blood was also found on the bed frame pieces, which matched exactly what Jennifer had told her lover. The house smelled strongly of bleach, and there were reddish-brown spots on the walls, bed frame, and blinds. Most tellingly, the mattress in the bedroom was brand new. Phone records would later show that Jennifer had ordered it on September 24, just 3 days after the murder, and it had been delivered 2 days later.
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video.
During the investigation, police also found GPS information from Jennifer's phone showing her movements on September 21st and 22nd. The information showed her traveling to the spot where Matthew's truck was found at around 6 in the morning, and later tracking her trip north toward Davis County, exactly where she said she had buried his body. On October 2, 2024, armed with the recorded admissions and physical proof, police arrested Jennifer Gledhill on charges of first-degree murder and obstruction of justice. But the investigation was far from finished. On October 24, 2024, Jennifer's parents, Thomas Gledhill, 71, and Rosalie Gledhill, 67, were also arrested and charged with 4 counts of obstruction of justice. Police found that the couple had spent over 5 hours at Jennifer's house in late September, despite first saying they were only there for less than an hour to pick up clothing. Investigators found that Rosalie had bought the new mattress and had her phone remotely reset, losing all information about her whereabouts during the cleanup time. When police questioned Thomas about the master bedroom and supposed cleanup, he told them, "I did not go in where the incident happened," accidentally showing knowledge of a crime scene. During a search of the parents' home, police found a Glock 19X gun box wrapped in a child's onesie inside a plastic container near Jennifer's bedroom. The box matched the description of the gun Jennifer had shown to her lover on September 19. The family had tried to hide the perfect murder, but their web of lies was quickly falling apart. Months have gone by since Jennifer's arrest, but Matthew Johnson's body remains missing. Big search efforts have covered multiple counties going from Davis and Weber counties all the way to Box Elder County near the Utah-Idaho border. Over 70 searchers have taken part in the ongoing efforts to find Matthew, including law enforcement, volunteers, and Matthew's own military friends who have organized their own search groups. As his friend Kevin Thompson said, the fact that the search is now in its 5th month keeps them up at night. John Hash, Matthew's fellow Green Beret who worked with him for 12 years, has been frustrated by the ongoing search efforts. He said, "Having had Jennifer in our home before, sharing meals with them, it came out she's responsible for his death. It was shocking, honestly." During recent court hearings, prosecutors showed that a vehicle storage box had been found floating in water, and it had Johnson's blood inside. This discovery gave additional physical proof linking Jennifer to the crime, but Matthew's body still hasn't been found. The search continues to grow across northern Utah as investigators follow every lead, hoping to finally bring Matthew home to his family. They were about to find a secret Jennifer had hoped would never come to light. Jennifer Gledhill has said she's not guilty to all charges against her. She faces 1 count of first-degree murder, 5 counts of obstruction of justice, 1 count of having a controlled substance, 1 count of abuse or mistreatment of a human body, and 1 count of tampering with a witness. During her bail hearing, prosecutors argued that Jennifer was a big danger to the community and to the honesty of the investigation. They showed that she had told her lover she would shoot herself before going to jail, showing both her desperation and potential for more violence. The judge agreed with prosecutors and said no to Jennifer's request for bail, saying that she was a risk to the community. She remains in custody at the Salt Lake County Jail. Adding another layer of difficulty to the case is the question of Matthew's $500,000 Credential life insurance policy, with Jennifer named as the person who gets the money. With Jennifer facing murder charges and Matthew's body still missing, Credential has asked the court to decide who should get the money. Jennifer's trial is scheduled to start on December 8, 2025, and is expected to last 8 days. Perhaps the most heartbreaking part of this case is the 3 children who have lost both parents, 1 to murder and 1 to prison. Matthew Johnson's family has put out a statement through their victim representative saying, "We are hopeful that we will find Matt soon or that Jennifer or someone will come forward with the location of his body so we can properly lay him to rest." The prosecution's theory is straightforward but chilling. Jennifer Gledhill killed her husband because he found out about her affair and she wanted to be free to continue her relationship with her lover. Rather than go through a messy divorce that might have resulted in shared custody and financial obligations, she chose murder. As we wait for Jennifer Gledhill's trial in December 2025, one question troubles everyone involved in this case. How does a mother of 3 justify destroying so many lives for the sake of an affair? Perhaps we'll never fully understand the depths of Jennifer Gledhill's selfishness and cruelty. What we do know is that her actions have created wounds that will never fully heal. Justice may eventually be served, but Matthew Johnson will never come home to his children. And somewhere in northern Utah, a dedicated father and soldier lies in an unmarked grave, waiting for someone to finally tell the truth about where he can be found.